Drama awaits, only on Echoes of Love. Our film begins in 1991 with Inspector Nick from the San Francisco Police Department, who is investigating the murder of Johnny Boz, a rock and roll star who died from 31 stab wounds inflicted by an ice pick while in his bed. All suspicions turn toward his girlfriend, Catherine, who happens to be a novelist. Nick goes to question Catherine, but he's unable to find any evidence against her, so he leaves and visits Dr. Beth, his psychiatrist, who has been treating him under orders from Internal Affairs after he accidentally killed 2 tourists while under the influence of cocaine. He then starts gathering information about Catherine and discovers that her parents died in a boat explosion, that she was once engaged to a boxer who died during a match, and that she possesses a fortune estimated at £100 million. He also learns that she published a novel the previous year titled Painful Love, which tells the story of a rock and roll star murdered by his girlfriend with, once again, an ice pick. A meeting is held with Dr. Lawmore, a psychologist, who analyzes Catherine's personality through her novel. He says either she's the killer and will use her book as an excuse for innocence, or someone is so obsessed with her that they're reenacting her stories word for word to frame her. Catherine is then summoned for questioning, but she refuses to bring a lawyer, claiming she has nothing to hide. John, the assistant district attorney, asks her about her relationship with the victim. She replies, "I was with him for a year and a half. During that time, we experimented with different sexual practices." John then asks, "Did you kill Mr. Boz?" She answers, as expected, "It would be stupid to commit a murder in the exact same way I wrote it in my novel, as if I were announcing to the world that I'm the killer. I'm not stupid enough to do that. I didn't kill him. I was only in a relationship with him, and we used cocaine together." They put her on a polygraph test, and she passes it successfully. Later, Nick drives her home and says, "Not everyone can pass a lie detector test." She replies, "I passed it just like you did when you killed those tourists." Nick drops her off, then goes drinking with his friends, telling them he doesn't feel right about Catherine and is sure there's something hidden behind her. He finds it strange that her parents, her boxer fiancé, and her lover all died without anyone ever suspecting her. After drinking, he meets Dr. Beth and spends the night with her. The next day, he goes to the police department, where Lieutenant Walker informs him of a murder identical to Boz's that happened in 1980. The victim was a university professor who was also stabbed with an ice pick. Catherine had been his student, and he was also her psychiatrist. It's then decided that Catherine's entire life will be investigated, and Nick is assigned to watch her house and movements. Nick starts following her and sees her visiting a woman named Hazel Dobkins. He looks into her background and finds out that Hazel had been accused of killing her husband and 3 children in 1956. The next day, Nick goes to ask Catherine about her former psychiatrist and whether she had a relationship with him. There, he finds she has kept all his photos and newspaper articles. When he asks why, she replies that she's using him as a reference for the main character in her new novel. Then she asks him how he felt when he killed the tourists under the influence of cocaine, adding, "That's the truth your wife couldn't handle, that's why she killed herself." Nick gets angry and leaves. He goes to confront Dr. Beth, accusing her of giving Catherine access to his psychiatric file and revealing private information about his life. Beth tells him that Officer Nielsen was the one who sold her the file. Nick storms into the precinct and punches Nielsen in front of everyone before walking out. That night, Nick receives a call informing him that Nielsen has been killed and that he must report immediately. He arrives at the crime scene to find Nielsen dead with a bullet in his head. An investigation begins, and Lieutenant Walker asks Nick if he killed Nielsen. Nick answers with the same line, "It would be stupid to kill someone I just fought with, as if I were telling the world I'm the killer. I'm not stupid enough to do that." The answer is no, I didn't kill him. Despite that, he is suspended from duty pending a psychological evaluation. He later learns from his colleague Sammy, who was in charge of investigating the explosion of Catherine's parents' boat, that the explosion was caused by a gasoline tank leak, which had already been repaired twice before. He also learns that her parents had life insurance worth $5 million. Nick returns home to find Catherine waiting for him. She gives him a copy of her new novel, which tells the story of a young boy who kills his parents by blowing up their private plane, driven by pure curiosity to see if he can get away with the crime. Then she says to him, "I'll be waiting for you tonight at the casino." Nick heads to the casino, where he meets Catherine, and the two spend the night together at her place. Roxy, Catherine's lover, sees them together and angrily confronts her for sleeping with Nick. That evening, as Nick is driving, a car begins following him and tries to run him down, but he narrowly escapes. He jumps into his car and chases the vehicle until it crashes off a bridge. When he rushes down to see who was driving, he discovers that it was Roxy, Catherine's lover. Later, he learns that Roxy had been accused of murdering her siblings when she was 16 and had served time in a juvenile correctional facility. Nick goes to Catherine to tell her what happened and finds her grieving over her friend's death. She tells him she's always been unlucky with her friends. Ever since college, she's lost everyone close to her. Then she tells him about her first friend, Lisa, a strange and obsessive woman who began stalking her and imitating her clothes and hairstyle. Catherine says she suspects that Lisa is the one who killed Johnny Boz. Nick begins investigating with the help of his friend Sammy, and soon discovers that Lisa is actually Dr. Beth, his psychiatrist. He confronts her, saying, "I know everything." She replies, "Catherine is mentally unstable. I've been watching her because she's dangerous. She invented this whole story to shift suspicion away from herself and get away with murder." Nick finds himself torn and confused, unsure whom to believe. When he returns home, he finds Catherine there. She tells him, "If you don't believe me, go to the university. You'll find that I filed a complaint against Lisa long ago for stalking me." But when Nick checks the university archives, he doesn't find the report. He learns that Officer Nielsen took it a year earlier and never returned it. This makes Nick even more suspicious of Lisa, believing that she killed Nielsen after he discovered her obsession with Catherine, and that she got rid of him to cover her tracks. Nick then tries to gather information about Lisa's ex-husband, only to learn that he was shot dead in his car 5 years ago, and the case remained unsolved since the killer was never found. Later, one of Nick's colleagues tells him that he found the address of a college friend of both Catherine and Lisa, who supposedly knows a lot about them. They go to meet her, but Nick's friend goes up first, and as soon as he opens the elevator door, he is murdered with an ice pick. Nick fails to save him and starts searching for the killer, only to be shocked when Lisa suddenly appears before him, claiming she received a message on her phone inviting her to meet his friend. In panic and suspicion, Nick shoots her, killing her instantly. Lieutenant Walker arrives to investigate the scene and searches Beth's apartment, where he finds Catherine's novels, a gun identical to the one used to kill Nielsen, and numerous photos documenting Catherine's life over the years. Convinced they've caught the real murderer, the case is officially closed. Nick returns home to find Catherine there once again. She tells him she knows what happened and says that she loves him. They spend the night together, and during their lovemaking, she reaches her hand down as if to grab something from the floor, but then hesitates and pulls back to embrace him instead. The film ends with a shot of the ice pick lying on the floor, leaving us to wonder, who was the real killer? Here we reach the end of the video. Subscribe for more.